y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro.
JR.
Yes, and today we are going to be talking to Kaye about one of her favorite songs. Because, on Catch That, on our fan mini episodes, we like to get to know people through their favorite songs and, break it down. So, yes. So, welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Hey,
Hey.
Hey.
So tell the folks a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you would like to tell.
So I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Bronx. Don't put the X up, JR. Don't do that. It's blasphemy. I went to the illustrious Morgan State University, the national treasure. I'm a low-key public official, and I'm single. And if you have a cute father, uncle, I'm sorry, but I am though. Like, ask about me, ask them. If you like what you see, you tell them, and they're gonna tell me. All right, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, the R&B representatives, we all about love. So.
Amen.
Prosper says prosper.
Oh God, this is going to be one of these episodes. Oh,
yes, it is. Already, right.
Oh my God.
Yes. So how about you tell the folks what song you picked to chop it up about today?
Okay, so now let me just say, you said we let them pick their favorite song because it tells a little bit about them. So now I'm gonna tell y'all what my song is. It does not tell you anything about me unless you're a young father, uncle / grandfather, nephew. Then it's us. Okay, so I chose Adina Howard, Freak Like Me.
Yes. And y'all, let me tell you, when I found out about what her song was,
oh God.
I was fucking jazzed, yo. Like, how lit is that?
No, because so when Kaye was like, yo, so she was like, I picked my song. Because she called me before she did it. And she was like, yo, I picked my song. And she was like, JR, don't you dare laugh at me. Don't you dare judge me. And I was like, nah, I'm thinking she going to pick like an 80s joint. Like, you know what I'm saying? I figured maybe it'd be like Melissa Morgan or something like that. Or something like that. I thought she was going to go there. When she said Adina Howard, Freak Like Me, I literally looked at my phone, was like, you gotta be kidding, right? Like, you gotta be kidding. Out of all the songs, this is the one you picked. And I said, the first thing I said, Elise is going to fucking love this. Like, she's gonna lose her mind with these.
So I initially was like, Adina Howard t-shirt and panties, right?
I can't. Really? Out of all the songs. And Kaye is an R&B head, y'all, like for real. And
so, do you want me to tell why I picked the song? Okay, so what I did, I like Adina Howard as an artist, right? Mm-hmm. And so all I could think of is like when y'all said pick a song that you like, I was like, what was a song that just kind of like punched everybody and shocked them? So there's a lot of songs that came out in the 90s because that was just like the hip hop R&B mesh era where, there's a plethora of songs I could name. But I just remember when Freak Like Me came out and like folks like, I think I had to be like, maybe like, I'm about to tell my age, I had to be like 19, 20 or whatever, like maybe like 20. And I remember being in the car with my mother. My mother's a pastor. So I was in the car with my mother. And so this song came on and I'm like singing like, freak in the morning, freak. She cut that radio off like, wait a daggone minute. Yeah. Because, like I was away in college. So you singing it with your friends, it's rocking at the party. But I also remember that song being like the butt of a lot of jokes for comedians, but then also like a lot of people speaking out like this chick went too far. But when you look back at the history of R&B music, so you look at like Marvin Gaye, who's my real father, and I just want to put that out there. So Marvin Gaye Jay, you always don't laugh when I say that. You know that's my father. So
you don't understand the dynamic of this. I will be laughing this whole show because you and Elise does this. Like both of y'all. Like
and Elise was like, oh, I didn't know this. So when you look at like the dynamic of like his songs and stuff, so you think about they were singing about sexuality in explicit songs, but they have more like of a soulful love type way of putting it in there. So, you know, like your parents, you could be at a family gathering, y'all rocking the Marvin Gaye, you all listening to Teddy Pendergrass, ain't nobody like cut this off. And all I could think of, like even back then, was like, these dudes were singing this, and y'all mad at this chick for singing this. I get it, she's being a little more crass, a little more whatever, but then I bought her CD, or I stole it from, I think, this dude that I liked in college. So I got the CD, I still have it. Yes. And so when I listened to the CD, I was like, she really can kind of sing a little bit. So she had to come out with her Shaka song. So Freak Like Me. And then like, because remember they did the Renee and Angela song over.
Yes.
You don't have to cry. And then it was like,
yeah.
When Michael speaks, where is he? Is he on crack? Because ain't nobody heard
I was going to say, I thought he was, to be honest.
Is he on crack? Okay. Yeah.
I really did. I was like, is he on crack? But you said it. So okay.
He gotta be on crack because like nobody's heard from him. And then he came out with like one song and it's just like nobody heard from him. He gotta be on crack. He gotta be. Yeah, he got to. Yeah. Him and what was that other Alfonso Hunter? Like people like that. They do like they go on crack or they drink a lot and they like just working at Walmart and you don't even know it's them. So anyway, I got all off the track.
No, you're fine because you were talking about how the album for real.
Yes. So that's what I like. Like once I got the album, I was like, oh, she's kind of all right. Mm-hmm. Her songs were still kind of like, whoa, you know, but not all of them. No, but it was just like, wow, she can kind of sing a little bit, and everybody just gets stuck on this one song. So I liked her as an artist as well because I was like, oh, okay. So I just chose that because it was like a shocker, and you know, that was it. Yeah. Right. But it does not say anything about me unless you're the, you know, grandfather, uncle, nephew. What did I say? Somebody else in there. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was, what's interesting. So when it came out, I would have been 16. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of changes because at least when it came out, you was grown.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school, just being, you
fast.
Know, fast, you know. So
right.
Because I mean, if you wanted to hear somebody singing that, like out, like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yes. And so that's the other part is like you could be at from a retirement party, excuse me, to like a college homecoming party. Mm-hmm. They're going to throw that song on because the DJ knows that song gets the party going, and if they put the right beat behind it. And you'll be at like a party with some people who you don't think should even be into it, right? And you'll be like, oh, and they like, yeah, freak in the morning, freak. And you're like, is that the president of my company's wife over there? Okay. I see you, girl. Like, and because it's catchy, like that tune is catchy, you know, like even rappers freak like Adina, you know, like, so all this, like she is just catchy. So.
It's just, and then, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, since y'all want to tell y'all age, how old y'all was. Y'all know I was 9.
You could have kept that detail to yourself.
He always does it.
Because when I first heard
it. I don't like when you do that. That's not nice.
Because now, when I first, you bringing me back to my mom's South Carolina State days.
Yes.
So when that song, it brings me back there. And I remember when I first heard that record, I was like, at first I was like, because y'all got to remember, my parents was letting me listen to Doggy Style and the Jodeci and all of that. So I kind of knew what was being said, but I was like, whoa, she's saying it? Because, you know, before then we knew Millie Jackson did raunchy stuff.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? She did the raunchy stuff. But then it was like, then this is the time where it was like Janet was kind of like the only girl that took it there, but didn't go overboard. Adina said, I want a dude that can match my sexual drive. Like, I want a freak like me. So it was just like, and then I know a couple of times, because after you hear it a couple of times, then it was like, it became a big hit. So everybody is playing it. And it was always between this song and Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It. Those who was playing This Is How We Do It, and the girls are playing Freak Like Me. Mind you, I'm singing the lyrics and I can catch.
Didn't Freak Like Me push This Is How We Do It out of the number one? No,
she never hit.
Oh, that's right. It only went to two. It only went to number two.
Okay.
That's right.
She tried, but his joint was too strong. So I know it was a couple of times my mom was looking like, I don't think he knows what she's saying, but I'm gonna let him sing it, because I'm like, wanna be a freak, and I'm singing these words, and my mom like looking at me like, I'm gonna let him have it because he don't really know. But in reality, it's like, damn. And then when you go to her album, like, for real, like, the first song is You Got Me Humping. Like, she let you know what it is. Like,
but now, wait a minute. Now, you know, she's from, like, Michigan or whatever. They play differently there. You know, they have water issues. So, you know, they play differently. they've been affected since young with this stuff.
It's like she, from the break, she was letting you know what it was. And it's crazy that she was getting all the flat for it, but 3 men wrote it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think we were kind of ready for something to shock us during that time, because the guys were doing it, but we needed a female, because, you know, the whites had Madonna. She was already doing that for them already.
Exactly.
So, and Janet she was taking it there, but she didn't go too far. We needed some girl, because it seemed like after Adina opened the floodgates, literally, it was a wrap.
But I think, like, for me, that's the part where I think, in my opinion, it went too far. So it was like, I liked Adina, she was in the box, and then everybody just kept getting raunchier and raunchier and raunchier and raunchier. So now, you know, I was in that, like, 90s thing. So I didn't sing a lot of songs, and still do that I probably shouldn't have sang, because you listen to it like, what did he say? And, like, it's not until you get older, you get a little more mature, like, and maybe, like, you at work one day and you like, let me put something else on. Kirk Franklin, Jesus is the reason. Like, you be like, let me switch it up.
Yeah. But do y'all remember, it came out a couple years before, was in 93, was Smooth, what You've Been Played, off of the Minister Society soundtrack.
I do remember that.
That almost seemed like almost Adina, like, cause it just didn't get as big, but she had that same persona, that same, like, cocky energy, like, like what, you know?
Wasn't she?
And then
from
she
the
had
Midwest
Strawberries, too? Which sound a lot like, kind of in the, it's kind of her T-shirt and panties kind of tempo song, with Strawberries.
Oh, so she was from the Midwest too?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. I can't remember if she's from the Midwest or not, because I remember her from that one song. Yeah. And that was it. Like, you know, like, she didn't really pop. And then, but what you have to think of too is, like, they weren't really ready for that back then, you know?
She's from Cali.
She's from Cali? Oh, okay.
LA.
Okay.
She's from Cali, okay.
Oh, she's from LA? Oh, yeah, they get down like that. But they, like, people weren't really ready for it, because even now, when I say, oh yeah, I got the Adina Howard CD, people look at me like, you really have the CD? And I'm like, yeah, like, I was like, her voice wasn't bad. I was like, but, like, when you listen to the CD, you can tell, like, this wasn't just an act for Adina, right? Exactly. Like, this is, like, Adina was that friend that, like, your mother was like, you're not hanging with her no more, okay? Because her in her mouth, but Ma, I want to go over there, because the whole family is probably like Adina, and they wild for the night, right? And your mother be like, you're not going over there. What? No, you're not going over there.
And you funny that you taking it there, sis, because it's a couple of interviews that I've seen that, you know, and she said, as soon as she came out with the record, her family was like, okay, like, they didn't have a problem with it. It was like, okay, this is you. We know you. Like,
so let me tell you, you can tell that by the opening line in Freak Like Me. Let me lay it on the line. That's something your grandmother say. Look, I'm gonna lay all this on the line up in here today. So she was just letting you know, let me lay it on the line. That's some old school stuff. That stuff is inbred in her family.
Yeah. Yeah, and like one of the most profound statements in the song is, and a man has got to deal with it.
Yeah.
That sums the whole song for me.
Exactly. So when you think about that, like it's almost, remember when they did the NWA movie and then Michelle did her movie?
Yeah.
And she talked about her family. Like you could almost see them being cousins a little bit because of how like Michelle family was like, I know Dre slapped you, but listen, you better go back because this dude is about to be famous. I know he broke your nose. I know he choked you, but you sing that song and stop playing. Like, and I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny. But like,
I get it.
That was just their environment. Like, you know, like to your point, she started out with laid on the line and a man has got to deal with it. Right there, that's your aunts and them frying fish in the kitchen on a Friday night, like, and and
drinking some Budweiser too.
Yeah, talking about I ain't about to pay nobody's way.
Yeah,
don't nobody young say that.
Right. Exactly. That's
but
what I'm
you know
telling
what
you.
bugs me out too about this whole shit? How you gonna start the album saying we got some bumping to do, right? Then you go to Freak Like Me, but then you gonna say if we can make love tonight. Like how you go from let's fuck to make love? Like how does that happen?
Because that's how
all relationships ain't linear. Sometimes it do start off with let's fuck and then it end up let's make love.
You got a point there.
Real talk. Actually, that's usually how it happens. So
you're right. You're right. And then she said, and then after a skit, she said, now you can be my nigga now. After you done gave me the business, you can be my nigga now.
But like did you see her, what was it? Oh my gosh, Uncensored. Wasn't she on Uncensored?
Unsung? Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, like she was. It was Unsung.
Yeah,
she was on.
Yeah.
Okay, like you could tell she's still wild for the night.
Oh,
like
yeah.
her voice was gravelly
absolutely.
on there. Like she just smoked some Pall Malls and drank a 40. Her voice was gravelly. Like she was like, and they just had to pick what I was doing, and I was like, oh, Auntie. You gotta cut this out sooner or later.
They asked her too. They was like, well, with your new music, are you gonna change your sexual thing? She was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, her like she smoked Pall Mall unfiltered. Like she was like, I'm not changing nothing. Like, she still drinks champagne. That's what I'm telling you. She still drinks champagne.
Yes, she do. She definitely do. I see that.
Champagne. She drinks, and on the holiday they have Manischewitz for everybody. Like, no, we gonna do Manischewitz. We high class. We gonna have Manischewitz. Yeah.
Period. So, do y'all think with what you wanted to say something, sis? You wanted to ask something?
I actually was gonna just in all seriousness for a second, the samples used in this song, you know, with the slide, and then you got the
Cool in the Gang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kool and the Gang was very highly sampled because they were a true band that, like, if you ever take the time to just like listen to their music, like you'll be like, oh, that's from this song. Oh, that's from that song. A lot of people always say like, oh, the Isley Brothers are the most sampled, but I think really it's for kind of like one song. Like Kool and the Gang, they were a band. They had so many great songs that if you're ever listening to just like you have the day, you just on YouTube, like, let me just rock it out and listen to like some Kool and the Gang. You'll be like, oh, wait. You'll rewind like, wait, I heard this before. And then like they were so highly sampled. They were so dope.
I feel like Kool and the Gang and New Birth, because that's Elisa's group. And band, and they are like highly, like literally sampled, but a lot of people don't notice. Like, like you said, they go to the Isley Brothers, and they go to James Brown, of course, and then they go to all that, but they don't think about like New Birth. There was a couple like me and sis was listening because when she come to my house, I gotta make sure New Birth is being played because that's what she loves. So when she play and I'll be like, yo, this is a sample of this, this is a sample of this, she'd be like, I know.
I do.
But a lot of people don't know this.
Like, exactly. Yeah.
In the game, a lot of people don't know. Like they got samples, yo. Like they out here. And how many people don't use Summer Madness and they only use a little bit for this record, like a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, man. This song, y'all is a mess. I cannot believe this song was
That is why I chose the song, though, because I knew it was going to cause a whole lot of a lot of jokes.
She did.
Yeah.
So how do you feel this song has affected you, whether it's in your life or just music wise?
So music wise, so I grew up literally listening to music. I swear I came out the womb listening to music. My father was into music. I came from the family parties, and you go to somebody's house and it's 8 a.m, they up cleaning, and music is blasting through the house and everybody sleep because we just know this is what we do. We are musical people. So for me, my upbringing with my dad was much like JR's. I got to listen to everything. The only thing I probably couldn't listen to was his Richard Pryor records and possibly Millie Jackson, but I still wound up listening to some of her stuff, right? And so to me, this song just takes me back, as far as affecting me. It just reminds me of a good time in life, right? So when I hear it, I'm always like, oh yeah, I was in college at this time. And so I had one of her songs, oh my God, on my voicemail. Huh?
It's on the first or the second? It's on
the first album. I had the first CD, I had one of her songs on my voicemail. I'm dating myself, but you gotta let the intro play, and it's the music.
Oh yeah.
I can't come to the phone right now. So I had 3 friends that knew it was an Adina Howard song.
I know,
and every time
horny for your love or something.
No, I didn't.
Oh, baby, come over. I hope you ain't pick no mess like that, Kaye. You better not have picked.
Listen what I'm saying to you. It was Baby Come Over. But let me tell you, you gotta let the musical part. You gotta let the musical part play, because your family don't know what that is. No. But your freaky friends know. Because my friends will be like, "You're so nasty. I can't believe that song is on there." And I'm like, but as far as musically how it affected me, it didn't really change anything in me. I did think sometimes, even now, older, I'd be like, that song was a little crass, but that was also a really good time in life for me. So, I was young, I was in college. So it's kind of like a nostalgic thing. And then it's still, like I said earlier, it's funny how many people actually, when that song comes on, they are dancing. Even if they don't know the song lyrics, everybody knows the chorus. Freak in the morning, freak in the evening, and you be looking at people's grandmothers at the wedding reception, sitting there with her church hat on, freak in the morning. You be like, what, Nana? What is going on?
Nana be like, how you think you got here?
How about that?
Right, that part.
Nana be like, we got 19 kids and 42 grandkids. Nana know about this. I could have wrote this song for this little girl. So... But it didn't really change anything about me. I was able to separate music from being ladylike. And so that's the difference in music now, with these raunchy chicks singing songs that sometimes go a little too far. These younger girls now, or young ladies, they don't know how to separate the music from being ladylike. So I could listen to that song and it had a place here. But then over here, I was still going to be a lady, right? And it wasn't going to change anything about me. It didn't affect my life or anything. So it didn't really have too much of a negative impact. It's just real nostalgic. And it's just funny to me how many people know this song. But they'd be like, what's that girl name that wrote that freaky song? Everybody's parents. Now, what was that girl's name? She wrote that nasty song, something in the morning, something in the evening. Adina Howard. You like that song? No, ma'am. I don't like that song. I know, baby. I know you didn't. I didn't. And in my head, I'm like, in the morning. Or in my head, I'm like, t-shirt and my panties on, just how you like it. So now that is my song. Like Freak Like Me, like that is.
Oh, once she realized what the formula was with that record, and she went to that next album, and you listen to that, she was
so like, I never listened to the next after that. I stopped after the first one.
It got shelved.
Okay.
It got shelved because the whole thing with her and Sylvia Rome.
Right. Okay.
It was, you know, her and Brandy was in the mix.
Right. Yes.
With Wanye, and she kind of told, she went on Wendy Williams. And back then, and kind of said some bad stuff about Sylvia, and Sylvia said, "Oh, really? Your career is done." So she shelved it, and we ain't never heard no more because literally, Adina had a lane that would have been hers and hers, and she could have had it, and it would have been her lane to have, and it was. But when you mess with the goal, ain't nothing you could do.
So let me ask you all this. I feel like Kaye in the 2000s tried to come in and take what Adina started, because remember she did My Neck, My Back. And so Kaye tried to bring that raunchiness that Adina brought a couple of years early, and like, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with this and I'm going to have a lane. But like she couldn't swim in that lane. Like she did the one song and it was just like, yeah. But I really think when I first heard that song, I was like, she's trying to be like Adina Howard. And everybody was like, what? No, she's not. And I was like, she absolutely is. I was like, she came with the Shaka song. And I was like, she's trying to pick up where Adina dropped, because Adina really to the mainstream world only had t-shirt and panties.
After that, right?
Yeah, I mean, not t-shirt and panties. Freak Like Me. Look at me, t-shirt and panties. No, like she only had Freak Like Me. Nobody knows the other songs on her, like that. There were other songs. Nobody knows that they did the Renee and Angela song over. So it's like I think Kaye tried to come in like, okay, Adina would have been dope. I'm gonna snatch what she has, and then I'm going to capitalize on it. But it didn't work for her.
I think too. I agree with that because. You know, I think Adina doesn't get kind of the credit a little bit because this is 95, early 95, and everybody try to do the Foxy and Kim type of thing, right? And I feel like we all know when Kim first came out with Junior Mafia, she was not the sexy girl. Like she was not the sexy chick that was on hardcore. That was not that girl. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when she came out with, you know, hardcore, she was like, your girl ain't a freak like me or Dina. You know,
see, he want to let me say it. He knew I was finna say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I came into the Zoom talking about your girl ain't a freak like me or Dina. I knew I want to say that.
I was in the moment. I'm sorry.
I'm messing with you, Jay.
It was like everybody don't give, and I was looking on stuff online too. Because sis, when you picked this song, it brings back nostalgia for me because I always call my mom, you know, her college, my first college experience. So when I heard that song, and you had the dudes blasting it, you had the dudes' dorms was blasting it, you had the female dorms blasting it, and everybody was blasting it. So every time I hear that song, I think me, you know, my mom used to let me kind of run the campus alone because I was staying on there and everybody knew me. So it was like, we ain't gonna let him do much too bad. But then it was like the song came out in like what was it, came out in January, but by the summer that song was on fire. Like it was on fire, so everybody was playing it, so it just makes me like happy. So when you picked that song, I was like, yo, let me research what this song was doing back then. And a lot of people were saying like, you know, she should get a lot more credit on what she did because everybody go like we said, people don't even talk about Millie. Like people don't even really talk about her. She's underrated as far as that. But then they kind of go to Janet, and then they kind of go to Kim. Then they go to Little Kim and kind of skip over the impact that she made. Because that was an impact. Because like you said, people was doing interviews back then. Like, this song is too raunchy. What is she doing? Like, she's degrading women. Like, it was a thing. And it was just like, wow, just remember that moment. Like, it was just a good moment. Like you said, it's a feel-good record. You know what I mean? Like, it's so
She really did. She really should have gotten more credit for this, because after she went downhill, right? She got shelved, what have you.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. Kim came out, and Kim that was in Players Anthem was not even the same Kim in like the next Junior Mafia song. It was like she found her sexuality and went way, like everybody was like, where's this coming from?
Right.
And before that, women were not talking like that in records, right? They didn't, it was none of that. Like, it's kind of implied, like SWV had Downtown. So like you had to really dig, like first, like, I mean, because if you was young when Downtown came out, you was like, he's gonna take me shopping. That's what I'm talking about. That's the way of my love.
At my age, you know, I thought that.
Yeah.
But Coco acted like she thought that. Girl.
You can't stop till you, that's my next song. I'll be back. We'll talk about that. But I'm like, what? So, you know, like, it was very subliminal, because you still had to be ladylike. You could have a little sexuality, but it had to be ladylike. And I could take it like back even further. Think about when Salt and Pepper did Push It. Like, it was like, ooh, what are they singing about? Like, it was like, wait a minute now, what are they singing about? And then even before that, so you had Vanity. And remember, I told you my mother smacked me for dancing to that Vanity song when I was little.
Yes.
So just let me dance to every song. Now I'm dancing to them. I've been dancing all day. Now you mad at me and you gonna slap me. I gotta cut the TV off. But I'm sorry, girl. I had a flashback. But like they Vanity, Apollonia, even the Mary Jane girls to a degree, they were all kind of like right here, right? And they had songs. The Mary Jane girls got more popularity and more mainstream love. But like when you think about Vanity, we only know one song from Vanity 6. And everybody knows that they had on All That Lace. After Vanity 6 dissolved, he tried with Apollonia 6. That totally got shut down. I think when they did that Sex Shooter video, and like it was like, wait a minute, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and that was all of like the precursors. So there's a lot of people that I think should get credit for like this newfound sexuality, so to speak, when it comes to women in music. But the person who most people feel took the helm and just like went with it was Little Kim, because she was like, you know, Adina was here, she was singing about it, and then it just kind of fizzled out because R&B stations was like, we can't play this stuff. And then damn, Kim comes out, and you know, it's like, oh, I could be like this, and you know, she's just going on. But she kind of said, to your point in the beginning of the song, say it, Elise, what she said?
I know that a man got to deal with it.
No, Kim.
Which part? Oh. Oh, your girl ain't a freak like me. Or Adina.
Yes. Like, so she kind of like gave Adina the nod and was like, all right, sis, see you later. She could have put her on a song though or something, right? She could have had her sing the hook on something.
It would have made sense. It would have made sense.
It would have,
perfect sense.
But she had Vanessa Del Rio in that video, so she surely could have put little Adina in the video. Just saying,
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. So with y'all, do y'all think, like, as far as when you think of the lyrics of this song, do y'all feel like women got it as free of their sexuality, or was they kind of behind the men like back then? Because I couldn't know them, but were they back then like, oh, this is a little much, like, no, we need to keep that? Or was it like, ooh, we got a girl that's talking like we want to talk? Was that y'all or no?
It was a party song though, JR. They played at the club, you know. Right. So I think certain people act like fake outrage over stuff, but the people that's really in the culture, they don't look at it like that. Like, I don't remember you know, besides, you know, like Kaye was saying, you know, your parents like, why are you singing that song? But that's about as far as it went. It wasn't this big outrage where they had all these TV shows talking about it. But for the people in the culture, it's just.
It was a good song.
Now I do think it was, and I mean, it's an empowering song for me to sing now, because I'm like, you know, I'm gonna own, I'm very like sex positive person. It's like I own my sexuality, and yes, a man has to deal with it because that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really mean a whole lot to me then, but now it it's like I think about it, and I have this sexual agency. I'm my own person. I'm, take it or leave it, but this what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So to me, I don't think like I feel like at least a little bit where it's like if you're in a culture, it is what it is, right? So it's like everything else in your life, like it has a place, So I just felt like, okay, the song is a little wild, but it has a place over here. It doesn't define who I am. So and it was a party song. And if you can find the right DJ who know how to put the right beat behind it, like that song is definitely like when he dropped that beat and it gets to the chorus where they chanting like cause I could be a freak and like you'll be like, oh shoot. But like when I first heard it, I was just kind of like, what in the hell? Who is this lady?
Yeah.
But then after a while, I was just like, hey, listen, it's just like anything else, right? Like it has its place, it's over here. It didn't make or break me, make me feel anything different.
Right.
As far as like myself, it was just like, all right, this is where this belongs. This is where this belongs. That's where that belongs.
Yeah, and I think a problem that people have with women and that I think they have with music is where they think somebody or something has to be one thing. No, I'm 10 different things. Yes, I'm a freak in the morning, freak in the evening. I also like to read books. I like long walks on the beach.
Real. That's real. Real.
I like I'm all of these things.
Yes.
I'm not one thing. I'm never gonna be one thing.
Yes, you're not monolithic in what you do.
All those things.
Yes. Yep.
And
yeah. But isn't that the purpose of music? Music is everything, right? Yeah. So so JR's been in a car with me. Like I can go from like gin and juice to Total to taking it back to one of my father, Marvin Gaye, one of his songs. I could switch to like Blue Eyes Soul, a little rock and roll, some gospel, so it's like all of those things are inside of us because and that's what music is, right? So I think what happens sometimes, especially with music like this, is that people automatically think like it affects everyone the same way. And it doesn't, because we all like different things. And we all like different music depending on what we're doing at the time, right? So I start my work day, I'm listening to like some like cafe jazz. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm feeling good. Like, this is a great way to start the day. The day get hectic. I'm in there like me and DMX, like, what? Like, I'm just like, and then I'd be like, I need to zen. All right, let me listen to some gospel. Okay, or I might listen to some classical music. I can. So that's what, when it comes to songs like this, that's what I think sometimes people don't understand, is that doesn't encompass all of you. And then, so for the people that it does, right, that totally defines them, that's them. Okay, fine. So what? This song may define more people than we actually know because they're just not vocal about it, right? Because we're not all really vocal about what we know about music, especially music lovers. So we're music lovers here. Music lovers are especially guarded with what they like because of the fact that everybody doesn't know music, right? And then it pisses you off when you're talking about something and then somebody doesn't know it and you're like, how you don't know that? And they're like, well, I don't know. And you're mad because you feel like it's common knowledge because you're Rain Man when it comes to music. And you're like, they don't know this. Like I used to text JR and Kill, like, so why am I even having this discussion with my coworker? I'm talking about your music, your rock and roll. How you don't know this? So we just have to take that into consideration when we listen to music, just people on a whole, like, depending on what mood you're in, that's what you listen to. And there's not one particular thing that defines you. There's music that defines sounds and eras in music culture, but there's not one particular genre of music that defines you.
Yeah. There's no definitive. That's why when you ask music lovers, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite album? What's your Shit, you could tell you. Sometimes you had trouble asking a music lover, "What's your favorite part of this song?" Like,
right,
yes.
right.
You know,
Yes.
so
Yes. Yeah. Like there's a running joke with me, and JR's been around like me and my friends enough. Like every song that come on, I'm like, "Ooh, that's my song. Ooh, that's my song." I'd be like, "Oh, but wait, here come my part right here. Wait, here come my part." And like it's always like this K song. You know this K song right here. Okay, she's singing. Is this your part, Kay? Yes, this your part too. Shut up, y'all. Don't do that. But it's like when you have that love for the music, you know what I mean? Like every song is your song. You know, we will discuss like what's your top 10. I don't even know. I can't even tell you. My top 10 right now is one thing. By the time I go take this laundry out and come back, my top 10 is totally switched up. And you're like, well, what about this over here? Well, when I was walking, I started thinking about some other stuff. And then all of a sudden this came up, you know? So when it comes to defining like a person, or I'll even for the context of this song with me, defining me, like this song didn't really define Jack, but just a good time in my life. And I was in college in my first apartment. And I used to put my stereo in the window and let the music play out into the courtyard, just disrespecting the regular folks.
Memories of doing that in college. God,
like it would just be blasting like bad, but I'd be like, "Hey, that's you blasting that Mary joint?" Of course it is. What? Like so, yeah.
Oh, drop the mic on that one.
Yes. This was such a dope conversation.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you are so fun.
Yes.
Sorry, y'all.
But yeah, so tell the people how they can find you if you want to be found out here in these streets.
Thank God you said that, okay. If she wants to be found.
So I don't want to be found.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm real low key with my social media presence. Like if you know me, you know me. You don't, you don't. But I probably see y'all more than y'all see me. But I'll find y'all. Because that's what I do.
See, low, y'all, low. Like at the end, like when we was doing when we was on apartment 5B, and he would be like, Kay would be like, "Don't tag me in it. Don't tag me."
He called me by my government name. I was like, "Stop rolling." Don't. He was like, "What?" And I was like,
"She like,
he was like, "Are you sick?
Time out. We gotta re-record." Nope.
Just over there. He was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "You cannot use my government name." And he was like, "I'm sorry. Okay, all right." But yeah, I'm on social media. I be watching y'all.
God.
But yes, we thank you so much, and we thank everybody watching, and we will see y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another mini fan episode of Catch That, where we get to know people through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro,
JR.
And today we have a very, very lovely guest, Shameika. Hello.
Hi, how are y'all?
We are doing great. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, or a lot about yourself, as much as you like.
Okay, well, obviously I love music because I'm rocking my Soul Train t-shirt.
Come on, Soul Train, come on.
I used to write for the soultrain.com website, and that's kind of what really made me like dive deep into music, especially our old school artists, legends, you know, the music we all love, the music y'all represent here. And so after that website kind of folded, I was still writing, but there was still this void of like, where can we celebrate these artists? So I was like, I was at a loss, but the National Museum of African American Music, they allowed me to come in and take control of their blog and really start pushing out some of those artists and like little mini interviews written, of course. And some of the stuff, I'm going to admit, I recycled from my Soul Train stuff because it wasn't on the site anymore. So,
That's right.
so after that, after they came in with new people and the vision of the blog changed, I was kind of at a loss as to where can I tell these people's stories? But pitching it to an editor was getting on my nerves at different outlets. So I was like, why don't I do my own thing? Which is literally how Check the Rhymes was born. And so Check the Rhymes is Gen X meets pop culture. I'm a Gen Xer. So the only artists that I really try to stick to on there are Gen Xers, or the ones that we grew up listening to, the legends, because they have some amazing stories, especially those stories that weren't told when the internet wasn't around, and all we had to do was find out about them through Right On, Ebony, all those Jet magazine. Yeah. So that's kind of what Check the Rhymes is. And I just have been loving this journey of like diving deep into these stories. So that's me in a nutshell. I still write too, but that's me in a nutshell.
And she's awesome. She's so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Well, how about you tell the folks what song we're going to talk about today?
And I know that they probably think I'm about to talk about a Michael Jackson song or a Kashif song, but no, we're going to the Temptations. Treat Her Like a Lady. I feel like a radio announcer right now.
Better than a lot of them that's on the radio now. Just saying. Hello.
Well, what do you love about that song, and when do you remember first hearing it?
So my love of music comes from my dad. So he always had music playing, always, whether it was during his little, basement parties or just anytime. He was always playing the Temptations, always, always, always. If it wasn't the Temptations, it was the Isley Brothers. So we couldn't help but know these songs.
Good
but there was
good taste, though. Good taste.
Yes.
Yeah, right. But so, I just remember hearing it over and over, because my dad was one that will just keep playing it over and over and over, the same song over and over and over and over. And then I kind of like, you grow up and you're out of the house and you start listening to everything else. But this song kind of came back to my mind in like 2011, which I wrote a blog about it on themofochronicles.com, because I was thinking about chivalry. I was like, because I think I got a door slammed in my face. Like, I think I had gone to the Waffle House in Atlanta and walk up. These dudes just walk in, let the door, they see me, let the door slam in my face. And I'm like, I don't know why that song just popped up, They say they open doors for ladies in the song. So that's kind of where I was like,
right. They ain't treating you like a lady. What's wrong with them?
Right. And I said something to them and they said, nobody ever told us that.
Who they mama? Who they mama? Who is they mama?
And what's hilarious about that, even though that's a chivalrous thing, words are hard, it's also, it seemed like that's something you should just do for anyone that's behind you, like, period. But even more so in that case. So yeah. So after that, like, anytime I feel like I'm dealing with some type of dude, or if I'm reading something online about, like, like, I think the current conversation on Twitter is pumping gas. The guy won't pump the gas, then he's sitting in the car and all that mess, and it's just like that song just pops up in my head. They need to remix it to add pump a gas.
Right, exactly. Let me call Otis.
I'm about to say Otis.
Otis, please. Now it's gonna be bugged out, because sometimes when I go to the gas station, I do hear that song when I'm pumping gas. Like, it'll play, and I'll be like, oh, okay, let me get my little jig on. Why? Because y'all know I'm a little extra. Be quiet, at least. And I'm a little extra, so when I hear it, I'm like, okay, let me get a little jug on. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got to get the shoulder with that joint for real.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, yes. Killing with the shoulders. Yes. And so yeah, the song came out in 1984, which was still a weird year for Black music.
Yes,
Yes.
very.
Because it was just kind of
very
all over the
true.
place.
Yes.
But one thing I noticed, so this song, it wasn't number one. It made it to number 2 on R&B. And it did cross over. It made it to like 40 something on Top 100.
Mhm.
But it was also a very sentimental year, because when I look at the songs that were number one that year,
Mhm.
it was stuff like Joanna by Kool and the Gang, Time Will Reveal by DeBarge, If Only You Knew, Patti LaBelle,
Ooh.
what's the other one I saw? That's when Stevie Wonder had I Just Called to Say I Love You in number one.
Oh God, why? I
was waiting for that reaction.
Oh,
Was Sexual Healing on the charts then? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was 82. So
82.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He wasn't in that. Thank you. I know, because it's like, everybody know how I feel about that song. So,
but like the number ones, like it wasn't a lot of stuff that was very funky or as number one. It was just a lot of ballads, like dare I say, like a lot of sappy ballads. You had Hello, Lionel Richie, and stuff like that. So like,
wow. So people were going through it in 84.
Yeah, right. Like, what was going on there?
Right.
yeah.
And this song couldn't make it past none of them emotional songs. Like, this is a bop. Like, really?
They was in their feelings. I mean, I knew I was dealing with a new baby sister, so I was trying to figure my way out, but
I thought it was gonna be more like a Prince, because this is Purple Rain-ish, like
When Doves
Right.
Cried was on there.
oh well. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but that's another song that's not a fast song, that's not a fast song. It's like a mid.
Yeah.
So everything was real slow, The only things that kind of weren't were like I Feel For You, Shaka was on there, and it was Cameo, She's Strange, but
well, everybody was making babies in 84. Like, that's the problem.
that's how I got a sister.
see?
Wait a minute, hold on.
It's all related.
Oh man. That joint reminds, when I first actually heard that song, it kind of reminds me of my family for real. Like when we have our, big family parties and things like that, that always comes on. So it reminds me of my family, like when I heard it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna throw no shot, but is this a song where it's like, it has to be played? It's like when it's played, everybody like, they got their little, they play in their hand and they jam into their seat, you know what I'm saying? And it always, and that's when you pick this song too, it reminds me of my grandma, my late grandma, and I can just see her just like tapping her foot, because my grandma had no rhythm. Sorry, grandma, love you, but it's the truth. But she, poor thing, we had to teach her how to do the electric slide, y'all, and do it right. So, and she still ain't get it after all these years, but still, it reminds me of her just tapping her foot, and it's just a feel-good record, because to me, the Temptations needed this. They needed this, to be honest. They really needed this record, because I think the best thing before then was Shaky Ground, and that was in like 75, I think. That was a big, big record for them. Mm-hmm. So it was like, they needed this, because then they went through the Motown, then they went to Atlantic, which was the wrong move. Then they got back to Motown and did, that joint with Rick James, the album with Rick James.
Yeah.
And they did, Standing on the Top. I'm not the biggest fan of the record. Like, people like it. And then, like, when I think it was a couple of years ago, I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter, and they was like, oh no, Standing on the Top is better than Treat Her Like a Lady. I said, block.
Lies.
No, lies. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, it sounds like a Rick James record. It didn't even sound like a Temptation song. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I'm gonna wait. And then he just kept going like, yeah, this song is better. And then when you start telling me about charts and stuff, boop, you're blocked. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing because it's stupid. It's like, don't come with, we're talking about music. If you can say, yo, I love the song, like me and Elise always say in every show, well, the song may be bad, but we like it. Okay, just say that.
Right.
But if you're gonna try to tell me why and because of the charts and stuff, that don't mean nothing because bad songs is number one, like now. Oops.
I mean, it was a lot of bad songs to me on that 84 number ones.
That's true.
It's a few of those songs that I just, oh God. And what's bad is the songs on it that I didn't like were from the legends. They weren't from new people.
I think they were trying to fit.
I didn't want to hear that Lionel. I definitely didn't want to hear that Stevie. And
I'm over here like, that's my jam. That's my jam. That's my jam.
there was other ones, but like those was the two main songs on there, and I'm like
you said, you could tell it's very experimental during that time. You know what I'm saying? Because like Kashif, he was rocking. Like he had it where you wanted to hear everything he did, you know, from Evelyn Champagne King, then his own stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, Stone Love, and you know what I'm saying, help myself, right?
My love.
Yes, thank you.
That's one of my faves.
Yes. So it's like that's the sound we were liking, and it seemed like a lot of our legends was trying to get to that, and it just wasn't right. It was just like
it just didn't curl all the way over.
Right. Right.
Like you could see what they were trying to do, but it just didn't quite connect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks to even how now our legends now try to conform to what's hot now, and it's like, please stop. I remember interviewing Tito Jackson a few years ago, and I was like, please don't tell me you've had to try trap music. And he was like, well, I kind of like it. I was like, don't you do it. Don't do this to us. Don't do it. This is not for you.
Because I think by that time they need to be making songs that for them. You know what I mean? That's
right.
For them. It's okay to step out of your box because like Elise says on every show, she's like, our artists, they like to keep them in a box. Yes, it's time when you can, you know what I'm saying, explore and all this. But when you try to explore somewhere that you know you ain't supposed to be, like, I don't want to hear no Tito on no trap beat. I'm sorry. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't want to hear that. It's like, Tito, no. You can beat it with that one. Beat it. Like, I'm not.
That's too off the wall. Come
on, girl. Yes. Yeah.
It's like interesting because it's not even that you don't want your legends to take elements of that. Now, say somebody like a Tito, another contemporary, like if they did and they took an element like we're gonna have a beat that's gonna have an influence of a trap, you know, or make the melody a certain way, or or something like that. That's different. But you kind of jump into something that's so opposite.
Yeah.
And
y'all remember when Brian McKnight tried that, right?
Oh Lord.
So
yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah. Elise got real quiet because that's her dude.
I love him, but that wasn't right.
No, it won't. Yeah, no, I could agree. Like I said, I could criticize people I like, but but when I think of an example where a established artist did that, for example, the last album that Layla Hathaway had done, it is like kind of trap influence in the beat, but she didn't stop giving you what she gives. She didn't try to change how she sang on it.
Agreed.
She didn't, you know, it worked. It's actually a really good album, but you can hear those elements. There's a modern, youthful element to it, but it doesn't seem like she's trying too hard, kind of thing.
Right. I don't know if you guys heard the Temptations. I guess that album came out a couple of years ago. That's one thing about Otis. He gonna keep this group together.
Okay. Right. No matter how many members is left, he gonna make sure the group stay together, baby. I know that's right, Otis. What?
But what they did was taking songs like The Weeknd's Worth It and then making it Temptations style. I don't know if y'all heard that song, but I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but it actually sounded pretty good. Though Otis, when I interviewed him, he said he thought I laughed at his face so hard because he thought The Weeknd was a group. And I was like, you out here singing people's songs, you don't know who it is?
I mean, I don't know The Weeknd either. I only know Weekdays. I mean, I'm with you, Otis. I'm with him.
I mean, I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
But they did a good job on the song making it a Temptations record.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I'm gonna have to. I'm curious now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. Like over the years, even though the Temptations have gone through multiple players, like I think there's only 2 in the group, maybe now that have been consistently in the group since the 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, Otis gonna keep this group together. He gonna like make sure that lead singer is on point. And if you think about it, treat her like a lady. If you could substitute Dennis Edwards in there or David Ruffin, it's still gonna be a hot song.
Oh my God, sis, I was gonna say the same thing because it's like when that song starts, right? And Al is hitting that a high note. That reminds me of David. Like it reminded me of David. I was like, David used to do like that when they were live, and they would do live like when they were at the end of what is it? I'm Losing You. He would hit this note, and it reminded me of that. So I was like you said, you could have replaced any one of them, and the song would have been hot. Because like Otis said, we need a good lead singer. You got to be, because he's like, I ain't doing it. And back then he's like, Melvin ain't doing it.
Right.
No, we ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't gonna do that. So he like, we need you to be on point. And let me tell you something, Ali, he has like literally like replaced a lot of dope lead singers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he done replaced freaking Dennis Edwards. He done replaced Teddy Pendergrass because he was down with the Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes and like and the Drifters. It's been like 19,000 lead singers in the Drifters. So I mean, but he's so dope. Like I was just like, wow, like you said, it didn't matter. Like I could see Dennis doing it, I could see David, but Al got on there and said, look, I'm gonna get a hit with these Temptations. I don't care what you say.
Right.
I'm getting me a hit. Because him and Otis wrote the record. So he was like, I'm getting me a hit off this. Like, what?
Yeah. And I just watched them on they were on 227. I've been watching those old shows.
Yeah.
And they were performing Lady Soul. So that's my other, I think, second favorite. Lady Soul.
Oh, I haven't heard that song in a minute. Oh my God, yes. And they performed it on 227?
They did, because Mary needed them to come down to the church benefit and perform.
Sitcoms love that storyline. That's how you can just get a group in or something to make it make sense.
Yeah.
But I was telling JR earlier, like, I do love this song, but it kind of almost is a little silly.
It is.
And and I think that's part of what I like about it, because it makes you like, you can't not, jump. Yeah. And I was saying another song that's silly that I always think of when I hear that song. If I hear one or the other, I think of the other, is Used to Be My Girl by OJ's. Like it's like an equal silliness but bop to it. But
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. But like you said, it's a feel-good record. So yeah.
I watched the video earlier a couple times, and I'm like, they was just getting it, with the Temptations moves that, dip it low to bring it back and two-step and their shiny suits, their shiny green suits.
Oh, them 80s shiny greens. Oh, yes. Oh, girl, I'm going to have to watch that after we do this. So I can laugh, even though I know they was killing it, but I'm going to have to laugh. Them with some sparkly outfits. What?
And when I think of 1984, that would have been when I just started realizing, like, when things was getting played to death on the radio. They played that song to death on the radio. They play that song a lot.
Yes, on the radio and in my house.
Yeah. So that's another reason you go to a cookout and everybody of a certain age is bopping. Because they heard that song so much.
And it couldn't hit number one, and it was played on the radio like crazy.
It was number two. I wonder what was number one that blocked it.
Gotta be a.
You said it gotta be an emotional song. I hope it wasn't no Stevie. I just called to say I love you, because if that block, that jam, I'm gonna be mad all over again.
Oh, you know who blocked it?
Ooh.
It was either Shaka or New Edition that blocked it.
Oh,
Okay.
I knew it. Oh, what?
Cool It Now.
Oh.
Okay, we'll take that.
Okay,
That's
we'll
my
take
jam
it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
So yeah,
I can't get mad. You
That
know?
one was a too well, a little bit emotional, but it was
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, how has this song affected you in any way, big or small?
it gave me something to write about, but it also makes me kind of in my head
That's fair.
my little checklist of as I'm trying to get back into dating again. So it's like, is he gonna pick my hanky up off the floor if I had one? Help me with my little smokes if I was smoking. What's he gonna do? Like, is he gonna open the door? I forgot the rest of the lyrics right now, but
Yeah.
like, is he gonna do these things like the Temptations?
Yeah. Is he gonna treat you with the utmost respect? Okay.
Exactly. That's what I need.
Shoot, I feel like we need songs like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Especially because I'm on the thing that we definitely need to treat our Black women and protect our Black women.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I feel like songs like this is needed, especially in the time we're in now.
Yes.
We need songs like this. Like you said, like, it's a little cheesy. I mean, it's a little cheesy. Sorry, Otis, you wrote a little cheesy little song. but at the end of the day, it's still, if you listen to those lyrics, it's saying how you should treat a woman, how you should cater to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like we definitely need songs like this. That's for sure. Like, yeah. And get back into the dating. Oh, Lord. Sis,
Yeah.
I'm there with you. It ain't easy.
My nerves bad.
Girl. It ain't easy at all.
Child, nerves bad when you got somebody too. So.
You know, and I mean, for me, I wanted to say too, you know, my favorite part of this song is not even the horn, because Sister love to say, "Is it the horn? Is it that?" And I never, this
Usually
is.
It usually is.
But it isn't. It isn't this time. It's the bass.
Yeah,
It is the bass. And the reason, and I think the reason why, because I love James Jamerson. And I talk about him often on my timeline. Like, I love that guy because I feel like he's the best bass player. And to know that his son played on this.
Mm-hmm.
His son played on this. That's crazy. I was like, when I, hearing it, like you said, when you were little and it was always being played and all that, but it was something about that bass I would hear. I'm like, ooh, whoever playing that bass is like, and then when I was like, what? James Jameson's son played this? I was like, he dope, because he done played for Aretha and Bob Dylan and so many heads, you know what I'm saying? And for him to do that, and I was like, yo, you giving me your father on this record, like, whoa, what? I don't know if he was drunk like his father, but
I don't know if Otis would have put up with that now.
Otis would have been like, not in this session, no, because Otis gonna let you know he the leader.
Right. Look, I just realized that Otis is behind me in this picture right here. I was like,
that's funny.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Nah, but it's real not, Otis. I love you. If you see this, please don't be mad.
Right. We love you, Otis. We always come to see you.
Yep. Yes. Well, this is very dope. Thank you for taking time to chat with that fool JR and me. And but before we go, let the people know how to find you if you want to be found.
You can find me at themofochronicles.com, which is my blog, which is where I wrote the post on the song. But you got to go all the way back to 2011, because that's when I wrote it.
Nothing to do. Everybody in the house, they good.
Right. Okay. So, but for my interviews with these legends and amazing artists, You can find me at Check the Rhymes TV on YouTube or on the Zonify app or at sweet929.tv. If you can't help but find me.
Y'all better check the rhyme.
She out here.
Yeah, she's out here for real.
I'm out here.
She's out here. The interviews, I'll be like, Stush, you pulled this one? Okay.
Wait till you see what I got coming.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We'll chat later. No. But yes, we thank Shameika for hanging out with us, and we thank all the viewers for hanging out with us once again on an episode of Catch That, and we will see y'all next time. Peace.